It's gonna be a beautiful night.
Oh, I see. You got
Bring
your
out the champagne.
I should have had
Let's start
a
it off
fake
sexy.
one.
Yes, you should have been drinking with
You know what the ladies say. And now the ladies say.
Howie T. Welcome to Champagne and Conversation, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. It's all good.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited. I have to say that this is Champagne and Conversations 1-year anniversary today. And when I realized the legend that we were going to be spending the evening with, I was just like, just when I think it has gone to the top, we are headed there. Yes, so thank you so much. I love the wall. I can't wait to talk to you about all of the amazing things that you've done. But first, before we get started, we must say to you, thank you for your contribution to the culture. Decades and decades, guys. Howie T is a legend, a living legend. Let's be clear. And we are going to make sure that we give him his flowers. Thank you.
Thank you.
So in all of what you've done, all of the things that you've done, what comes to mind as kind of the best of the time in this career that you've had?
The best time?
Yes.
Like it has to be like in the early 90s.
Okay.
That like the late 80s to the early 90s.
Okay.
Because I was, I was putting out record after record with different groups, not necessarily the same artists. So,
yes.
Color Me Bad, Chub Rock, Special Ed was out. I did some stuff with Heavy D and, all that stuff was going on in that area in that time.
Yeah.
So that's like the most fun time for me because I was always in the studio.
Yes, always in the studio. And as you named, all of the ones that I just love, Heavy D, rest in peace, obviously. And he is, like by far my favorite. Like I fan out every time there's a Heavy D anything. So I am so excited that you had an opportunity to work with him. And with that being said, in the 90s and that being your New Jack time, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that as I started to research Howie T, I noticed that he is by far the most humble person. And I read a story about the New Jack City time and where you still were taking a back seat to some of the production that you were involved in. I'm like, why? I'm assuming that that's just your persona. It's just you understand who and what you are, what you contribute, your talents and attributes, and you just didn't feel like you needed to really be on the forefront. Or what was your thought process in that?
It wasn't like a thought process. I had the opportunity to do production for Color Me Bad, the Sex You Up song. So I was just doing what I enjoyed doing. I didn't, I wasn't the one to go to like premieres and album release parties and stuff like that. So
and it just wasn't something. Yeah, it wasn't something that you were interested in. You just didn't feel the vibe with any of it.
No, I just did. I just did. I was just doing what I enjoyed doing. And once the project was finished, I handed it over to the label and went on to the next one.
Yes, that was awesome. And to speak of Color Me Bad was #1 on the Billboard. So how awesome is that?
Yeah, that was awesome.
And Brian will actually be joining us in a few weeks. So I thought that was ironic as well. Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yes.
I speak to Brian off and on. Last time I spoke to him was maybe like 3 months ago, something like that. He was out of town and told me he was gonna, he was gonna holler at me when he get back. Because he's very talented when it comes to vocals and writing songs. So, maybe we'll end up doing another song.
Yes, it's time, right?
Yep.
It's time. Yes.
Yeah.
And so in that time, not only did you work with Heavy and Special Ed and Chubb, you also had an opportunity to work with Madonna. What was that like?
Well, I didn't actually work with her. I didn't meet her.
Okay.
What happened with that situation was I did a song on Lil Sean's album called oh man, I forgot the name of the song, but it was a Madonna. The hook was a Madonna song.
Okay.
So we were getting it clear, the sample clear.
Okay.
So once she cleared it for us and stuff like that, apparently she liked what I was doing. So she had she had a song that she needed a remix. So she asked me if I could do the remix.
Awesome.
So I did the remix. They sent the reels over. I worked on the remix and stuff, but I never personally met her.
Never met her. Okay. So yes, and just kind of going back a bit in your start of the career, which was early 80s, or I guess you should say mid 80s. And you
No, it
had
was early 80s.
it was early. Okay. So we had UTFO and we had Whistle, which I will say UTFO came to the skating ring where I was. I probably wasn't supposed to be there, but I was there because I was a little girl and it was so fun. Real Roxanne was there.
Well, my career started before that.
Okay. Okay.
If you look up a group called CD3.
CD3.
Yeah, and the name of the song is Get Tough.
Get Tough. Okay, so tell us about that, because I think that as I saw that you started with the groups that I, of course, enjoy, then I just took it from there and just kind of took the trail forward. But CD3, so tell us about that. How did you get started with that? Was that DJing or was that MC?
None. And if you hear the song, you're going to be like, oh, you did that? Okay.
What's the name of the song? What's the name of the song?
The name of the song is Get Tough.
Okay, Get Tough. Okay.
And the group is CD3.
Okay. And that was early 80s.
That was 84.
Okay.
Well, we recorded in 83, it got released in 84.
Okay. And the inspiration for that group, was it more so for you to be part of the group, or were you producing in that respect as well?
No, I didn't do the production. Okay, this is how it all went down. I was a neighborhood DJ.
Yes.
I played at block parties, house parties, graduation, stuff like that. So as a DJ, you need to be up to date on records.
Sure.
So, going to different record stores and getting records and stuff. So one of my go-to record shops was a record store called Rock and Soul in Manhattan, across the street from, like over there by Macy's and Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
So that was one of my go-to stores. So I was there, looking for the latest records and stuff like that. So when I was leaving, this guy came up to me with a little, portable tape recorder. So apparently he had a group, he was the manager for a group, and they were in the studio trying to put a song together, a hip hop song together. So this guy, he was stopping people and playing the tape and trying to get their opinion.
Okay.
To see exactly where he should go with the song, blah, blah, blah. So I was one of those people he stopped. So he played it for me. Song with fresh beat, this fresh beat, something like that. So I was like, nah, man, that's whack. Ain't nobody want to do that. So he asked me if I wanted to come into the studio and help them work on the song. So I said, okay. So I was supposed to go there maybe like a day or two after. So when I got back to my, to my block, I told a homeboy of mine named Carlos that, yo, this guy want me to come down to the studio and help him work on the song or whatever. You want to roll with me? And he was like, word, yeah, blah, blah. So we went to the studio. They were playing the song. The group was there, blah, blah, blah. We went in the mic booth, we was trying to do, and it just wasn't coming out right.
Okay.
So they asked me if I had a song, if I have music, that I want to record or whatever. And I said, yeah. I said, yeah, we got something, which we didn't.
Like, I can figure it
Yeah, we
out
got
quickly.
So I think we were there like on a Wednesday or Thursday, and we were supposed to come there on a Saturday with the song. So I came up with the whole music by Saturday. So we went to the studio. I was playing the beat for them and stuff like that. And the guy, you know, that came with me, Carlos, my homeboy Carlos, he said, yo, one of the MCs that, you know, used to MC for me on block parties, and his name was Little T. He had this rhyme that everybody loved every time he spit it on block party. But he was in jail.
Oh, wow.
So Carlos said, yo, I want to use this, you know, his rap, whatever. So, you know, he said the rap to the guys, and it was like, yeah, yo, let's go, let's record that. Well, fresh was the word that, not dope.
That's it.
Like, oh, that's fresh, man. Yo, yeah, man, we need to record that. So we didn't record it that day. We supposed to come back. We came back the next day, and Carlos brought another friend with him. You know, because Carlos didn't want to be an artist by himself.
Okay.
So this guy named Dash. So came to the studio. They were doing the song, and it was like, yo, man, you should MC with us. And I was like, nah, man, I'm the DJ. I ain't doing that. I ain't MCing. And they persuade me into doing it, blah, blah, blah. So I end up rapping on the song. So it was, you know, so the verse, we split it up. We throwing the verse back and forth between Carlos and myself. Don't be at the bottom or in the middle. Then I came in, life ain't nothing but a funny real. So we was going back and forth like that. And then we just end up recording the song.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, you know, we recorded the song, we spent a lot of time doing the song. I did the scratches, I played the music. Of course, the beat, I did the scratching on there, and MC.
You got to use all of your talents on one on one record.
So the you know, the record was done. So now they wanted you know, the guy, his name is Peter. So Peter, for somehow, I don't know how he did it, but he got in contact with Mr. Magic.
Okay.
So he got Mr. Magic and Marley Marl to do the remix.
Yeah.
Because if Mr. Magic and Marley Marl do the remix, they're going to play it on their show.
That's it.
And that's exactly what happened. So every time Mr. Magic and Marley Marl came on, BLS, they played that song. So it wasn't that big, but it was New York, DC, Jersey, Baltimore. You know, we did a couple of shows here and there.
Okay.
We did almost like all the clubs in Manhattan, Roseland, Danceteria, the Roxy's, Limelight. I don't know if you heard of the Limelight. And that was like the weirdest club. The same guy that owned the Danceteria owned the Limelight. Limelight was a church.
Oh, wow.
So on Sundays was service, and on Saturday it was a club.
Okay. That
was too
we
funny.
can dig it.
So you know, that's how that record got known and played. And because it was always on the radio, Kango, you know, Kango lived a couple blocks up from me. So he came to my basement one day and said, yo, I want you to listen to the song that, you know, Full Force and I just, you know, worked on in the studio. And it was a song called Hanging Out. So he played it. I was like, oh man, yeah, that's tight, man. That's tight. So he said, yeah, man, but now we need to come up with a B-side.
Yeah.
So he said, yo. So the idea of the B-side, he said, I want when I rhyme a beat, when Dr. Ice rhyme a different beat, and when Educated Rapper rhyme a whole, different beat. So I said, okay. So I had out my 808. He programmed his beat. I programmed Dr. Ice beat. And then there's this beat called, it's called Big Beat. Almost like all the DJs, Grandmaster Flash, you know, Charlie Chase, everybody, that was one of the beats that were cut while, you know, MCs were rapping.
Sure.
So I said, when Mixmaster Ice throw that beat on block parties and educated rappers start rhyming, he rides that beat and his vocal and his style fits that beat. So I said, sample and loop that beat for educated rapper. So we did I did like a little demo, tape, gave it to him, but I couldn't go to the studio because I was working on CD3's,
Yeah.
second song.
You were in a
I
group.
gave
Yes.
him the 808 and gave him my sampler for him to go to the studio and lay it down, blah, blah, blah. So how Roxanne turned out is after Full Force, did the production.
Yeah. Yes. That was the song that I grew up on and the one that I was sneaking into the skate land to dance to.
Yep.
Yes. And the success of that in the 80s, because that was released in 85. So the success of that was definitely, awesome in terms of that time frame. And like you just explained, all of the major components to creating that record. I mean, even the geniuses that were involved in the record. I mean, it's just great to know that kind of music happened. Then it definitely was. And then obviously, you strategically thinking it through and being able to creatively come up with that. Again, thank you for that. And now I'm going to skip over a bunch of questions and ask you now. So based on what we hear now in hip hop, what do you take on the music quality? Is there a genius in the hip hop world right now that you take to or you compliment?
No, not at all. Not at all. I don't listen to that stuff at all. When I want to listen to hip hop, I go back to, the back in the day stuff, the KRS-One, the Tribe Called Quest, and the Black Eyed Peas, and of course Chubbs and Special Ed and Little Sean. Yeah. I go back. I don't, because the stuff that's out now, or that's been out for the last at least decade or something like that, the music, I don't hear creativity. The only person, the only people I was hearing, like creative, production and music from was Kanye and Jay-Z.
Yeah.
You know what
Which
I'm saying?
still came from some of this era. I mean, maybe not as early, but
right.
Especially Jay-Z, because he was tied into a lot of kind of the mid phase of where you were.
Right.
With what Fresh Gordon was doing. Now, going back to that, just before we get into it a little bit more, were there any influences that you had in getting into the music?
Oh, no, not at all. I just always loved music. So, I was born in Birmingham, England. Okay. And my mother and father is Jamaican.
Yes, and we can hear it.
I was raised in Jamaica also.
Yes.
But so my music in England, my mother said when she used to have her, little house party, her little gathering of friends and stuff, she always put, my siblings and I to bed.
Yes.
But she always come and check up on us. Mm-hmm. Right. So she said, she told me, because I don't remember, kind of. But she said when she went up, when she went to check on her, she didn't see me in the bed. So she was looking for me. She was looking all over the house for me, and she find me asleep behind one of the speaker boxes.
Wow.
So, I was asleep behind the speaker box. But now when we moved to Jamaica, when we went back to Jamaica, I really started getting into music as far as hearing music. I used to go, there was a store, in Jamaica, when you go down the hill, it's called Gully. Okay. So there was a store down in the gully. Okay. And they used to have a jukebox. And I would get my little change and I would put the money in the jukebox to hear this one particular Jamaican song called Oh Cherry, Oh Baby.
Okay.
because I love that song, and I always put my money here to hear that song.
One song.
That one song, and then the first American song that I've heard was the Al Green. I had the Al Green album.
Okay.
My mother had this Al Green album, and I used to play. So that's the first American music I've heard was the Al Green. So then my mother bought my brother and I a tape recorder, and we used to record, you know, out of our voices or record something. I don't know. No, I think I took that picture down on Facebook. I have a picture with my brother and I in Jamaica sitting on like a, you know, like a cement block wall, and we had the tape recorder.
Okay. Yes.
I was maybe 6 or 7. Anyway, so you know, so just listening, it was more Jamaican music I was influenced by.
Okay.
You know, so I always listen, and then when I started hearing hip hop, you know, when I started getting the Grandmaster Flash and the Cold Crush and the Grand Wizard Theodore cassettes, and I was hearing, you know, the rapping and the DJing scratching and stuff like that. I learned how to scratch by listening to the tape. I've never seen somebody actually do it.
Wow.
So I figured out, you know, because I'm one of the guys that I like to figure stuff out.
Okay.
So I'm hearing the scratching and I'm trying to figure out how they did it. Because I didn't see it. I didn't, you know, I was one of them guys that stayed on the block. You know, when I heard there was like a party in the park and Flash and them was going to be there, whatever. I never went. My homeboys went and they came back with the cassette. So I figured
you went to work studying.
Yeah, so I figured it out. I figured out how they got that scratching noise.
Yes, yes. Now, out of the obviously you had the opportunity to DJ and to MC. What of those do you like or prefer?
Oh, DJ.
Okay.
DJ. I only MC that one time.
Okay. All right.
Because in Treat 'Em Right, the first 16 bars was mine, and I told Chubb that I'm not doing that. And if you listen carefully to the lyrics, he says, the hitman, yeah, you know it. The third sequencer, the sequencer, he was scared to kick a 16 ball. He's not a rap star.
Yes.
I didn't want to do it.
Yes. This is legendary, guys. Yes. That was on Chubb Rock. Yes. But now Treat 'Em Right was also the name of Father MC's song.
Oh, you talking about Treat 'Em Like They Want?
Yes. Yes. So now you were involved in that song as well?
No.
Okay. All right. Because I saw that you had produced something with Father MC, but I wasn't certain as to exactly what.
I think it was 2 songs. The one I remember is called Father's Day, which is the title of his album.
Okay.
I did 2 songs for Father MC. But that was after, that was after Chubb's.
Yes, that was a little bit later on into the New Jack. So now you also work with Patra, which I loved. Now that obviously was from your Jamaican influence experience to bring that into.
Yeah. I try to do a combination of both because Patra's Jamaican and Yo-Yo, the American hip hop.
Yes.
So I found a way to combine the two, the hip hop and the Jamaican together to make it sound seamless.
Yes, and it was awesome.
I wanted to be like obvious that I'm jumping over to here. I just kind of made it seem seamless.
Yes, Romantic Call is my favorite. So that is my favorite. So definitely. So now out of all of the artists, I know this may be a tough question, but I like to ask it anyway.
Yeah, I could tell it's gonna be.
You know where I was going with that. No one get upset, but I'm just curious as to who was the most favorite. I won't say the favorite, but most favored out of all of the projects that you worked on.
honestly, it has to be special ed,
Okay.
because when I listen to hip hop, whether it be stuff I did or you know, outside of my production, I'm always into the music part of
Mm-hmm.
it, because I never told the artist how to rap or nothing like that. That's on them. It was like, yo, when you rap on these songs, you have to do it because you're representing you. So it's not gonna be like you did something and you did it like that because Howie said to do it like
Sure.
that. You know what I'm
Be
saying?
authentic to you.
Right.
Yes.
So, even outside, my production, I always pay attention to music. Ed, it was the music and his lyrics. Because his lyrics was like the stories
Yes.
that he'd be telling is like, and then, and like the wordplay and stuff like that he does really caught my attention.
Yes.
So every time we got in the studio and we was recording a song, I was looking forward to hearing what he was going to say.
Okay. Yes, and it was definitely fire in those days. I mean, outside of, and we've had Ed on to talk with him as well. So he actually said he's going to circle back so that he can talk about his new project. But we did discuss, the projects that we all know, which is what we grew up on. So definitely that was, a time in history and a time where 80s, 90s music, which is, like you said, what we go back to. And, just kind of tapping into where we are right now in the pandemic, COVID-19, we've all had to kind of, pivot. Have you found yourself looking back and going back into those catalogs and listening to that music while just kind of sitting around? Yeah. Okay.
I do that all the time. I have so many demos that if I was to release them, they'll be still good. They'll be, I mean, as far as like melody and as far as because I've done R&B, well, I've done pop, with Color Me Bad, but I've done R&B stuff too.
Sure.
And I still have songs. I got like 4 or 5 songs I did with Kenny Green from Intro. Those songs, if you was to listen to those songs now, you'd be like, yo, this could come out right now.
Okay, come on, let's have it. We need it. What are we waiting for?
I got some Color Me Bad demos that if it was to come out now, it'll fit right in. I mean, it won't fit right in, but it'll be,
It's timeless.
Right.
Yes. It's timeless and we could definitely enjoy it. I mean, it's been one of those things where music has been kind of a soothing component for us, or at least something that we can kind of chill and not be so anxious or worried or nervous or whatever it is that we were experiencing through those uncertain times. And it's now allowed us to kind of coast into 2021, with a little bit less stress. Just kind of going back to some of that music. So I encourage it. I cheerlead. If you want to do a unreleased album.
Yeah, those. I mean, even all the way back to disco times, back in the 70s, those songs are still, enjoyable.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm gonna, I'm just going to give them a plug. But that's why I always listen to Club Quarantine with D Nice. So he play those type of songs, and I'll be like, yo, those are the type of songs I want to hear, and I get ideas of the songs. I was like, oh snap, we could do, I could flip that. So yeah.
That is definitely something that we have enjoyed over the time of this quarantine. So now, outside of the things that you could do, are you working on any new music or any new projects currently?
I'm trying to go back to as far as how we used to put records out back in the day. So I'm not working on albums, I'm working on singles. You know,
Are they gonna be
because
on 45s with the little
yeah,
piece in the middle?
45s, 12-inch. Because back in the
33s.
days, because back in the days, we used to put out singles first.
Yes. Yes.
Then when there's a success of the singles, then that's when we do an album. And the album will have the success of the singles on there with some new ones, with some new songs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to go back to that pattern. So I have a song with Shub Rock. I have a song for myself, a DJ song, because I was talking to somebody, not too long ago, saying that how in hip hop, there's no songs about their DJs. Artists don't have a DJ unless it's a DJ for shows. Run DMC with Jam Master Jay, LL Cut Creator, Salt and Pepper with Spinderella.
Right.
UTFO with Mix Master Ice.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? There's nothing like that.
Yes.
At all. So I did a DJ record.
Yes. And so when do you anticipate that to come out? I want to put like a little EP together. So I still need some more songs I need to. I have a song with Crystal Johnson. I don't know if you heard of Crystal Johnson. Is it R&B?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I've heard one of the cuts.
She sang a lot of hooks on like hip hop stuff, like on Heavy D's album, Mob and stuff like that. She even had, records out because she was signed to Uptown. Okay. Yeah, she's an excellent songwriter. We did a song together for this girl named Tyra Kemp. Okay. For a soundtrack called, remember the movie Class Act? Yes. Yeah, I did a song on that soundtrack with, with Crystal. So I'm trying to get, I'm going to get a song from her. Okay. I want a song from Ed. I need one from Little Sean. I'm just trying to get a nice little EP. Yes. And then, I'll put it out. The songs are going to be timeless, so. Timeless. It's not like I got to put it out right now. Yeah. Yeah. But we're ready for it. We need it for summertime. That's a little rush. I was gonna say that's a little rush. You know what I'm saying? I know that we talked about all the guys that you have worked with, and we have to make sure that we pay some homage to the ladies that you've worked with also, and one obviously being the real Roxanne, and she was part of the UTFO and on the B side and that kind of thing. But what was that relationship like? Because obviously she was out early on, and then she just kind of phased out. So what was going on with that? I became Roxanne's DJ. Because when all the Roxanne answers to the song was coming out, they wanted to put out the Full Force wanted to put out their real Roxanne, their Roxanne, and they call it the real Roxanne. Like this is the Roxanne, that UTFO was talking about. Yeah. So they had a girl, I forgot her name, Elise or something like that, but something went down between her and Full Force. So they end up getting, Joanne, the Roxanne that DJ for. Okay, and we hope that she'll come on too. Right, so they wanted her to start, doing shows. So of course back then, rap artists had DJs. Okay, going back to that. Right. So I saw it had the good looking out type of thing when Kango asked me, if I want to be, the real Roxanne DJ, so I could go out on shows and, stuff like that. So I said, all right. So that's how I ended up being in the Full Force family, because I became, Roxanne DJ. Uh-huh. So, yeah. So, she's real cool, she, real talented. I mean, anytime we did shows, it was like, it's always a turnout.
Yes, it was always, because it wasn't many females that we really well, we had a few, but it was either like a group. So if you were girls growing up, you either wanted to be a group or you identified with someone that was just individual. And it wasn't a lot of them
Right.
going with the guys, hanging out with
Right.
the guys when it came down to, performances. So I think that was intriguing also, just to watch that. And, obviously in that time, the men made certain that the girl, the queen of the group, was the queen of the group. So they treated them well. And the girl just kind of shined, and it was great. It didn't ever seem to be negative energy at all. Like maybe some things that we go through now when we hear a little bit more of the negative connotations to females. So that was always a positive, to listen to the lyrics and to watch the live performances. And it was authentic. It wasn't anything that they just looked like they had to make up. It just looked like we came to just shut it down. That was it.
Right. And then, so the reason, it's unfortunate not only for, artists in hip hop, but in R&B and even in pop. When you're just an artist and your song musically, lyrically is coming from somebody else, right? You're done when they're done. You know what I'm saying? Because they're the one that's writing the music, writing the lyrics for you. So once they start writing the music or writing the lyrics for you, and you're not a songwriter, you know what I'm saying?
If you're not leveraging that, which is what you should be doing, is looking for the next opportunity while in the mix. If you don't do that.
Yeah, so once Full Force stopped, writing for her,
that was it. Wow, wow. Any
and
idea?
That's how it is with a lot of artists, not only in pop and R&B and pop too.
Yeah. Any opportunities for her to come back out, you think, with your new EP?
I have to call her. I was supposed to call her a while back, and I keep forgetting my age. I'll blame it on age.
You look great, though.
Yeah, I'll reach out to her and see if she's been writing. If she, got into writing.
Yeah.
Because otherwise than that, then I would have to get somebody to write her a song.
Yeah, which I think today is probably pretty easy because it's a lot of writers out there. So it may be something that, or it may be already a song somewhere that someone has that to say, hey, this is great for her. Right. We'll hope. Yeah. We'll hope that she comes on the show too, and we can talk to her about it. We've talked in text, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Right. So we definitely appreciate you spending the time giving us all of the gems as it relates to your career and the industry and moving forward in this pandemic. And we certainly wish you all the best. We are very excited about your new project, and I'm sure it'll be fire because just over time, all that you've produced has been amazing. So we look forward to Howie T and his, what do you think it's going to be? Howie T EP? What do you think it'll be called?
It's going to be called Howie. It's going to be called Howie's Crib.
Howie's Crib.
Yep. Because that's where I did all my production.
That's where you did it all. I love it. Howie's Crib, guys, is coming soon. Yes. And you heard it first on Champagne and Conversations. We thank you so, so much, Howie T, for joining us. You are a living legend. We want to give you your flowers. Thank you for all of your contributions to the culture. Keep moving forward. You look great, healthy, well, everything. So blessings to you. Yes. And we'll look forward to partying with you in that club,
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so, so much for joining Champagne and Conversation.
All right.
Thank you.